about the 365 Finance Insight. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andre. So hello everyone. Nice. I'm really happy to be here today. You see my screen? Yeah, it's okay. Perfect.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So yeah, today on my side, a new session about Finance Insight. We will talk about some AI now with Dynamics 365 Finance Operation, and especially right now, yeah, as you know, Finance Insight will be really a challenge right now with the COVID-19, and especially, of course, about the cash flow forecast. Also for the customer payment prediction. So it's really a challenge for a lot of companies right now to have a deeper understanding of about what will be my next cash flow coming year, etc. So I'm part of the private preview from May 2020, so quite long now, and a good opportunity here because since the release plan, I know you already see that, but the release plan of the wave of this year has been released publicly. So Finance Insight will be in public preview in April. So, and hopefully, yeah, in general availability coming, I don't know, that's Microsoft side, but I think, yeah, hopefully this year, of course. So, yeah, let's go. Yeah, so just a quick introduction of myself, if you don't know me. Yeah, Aurélien Clerc. As André said, I'm living in France, near Paris, and I'm global solution architect. So yeah, I'm not working only on finance operation. I'm working a lot, especially this week. I was working only on Synapse and Data Lake. So yeah, of course, depending on finance operation data, but yeah, I'm not only working only on finance operation. Also, in the past, I working on the customer engagement, on some projects on customer engagement and Power Platform. So yeah, I like to discover the whole platform of Microsoft. So yeah, I'm working also on Dean Agile Consulting. So it's not a famous company in France, but we are deeply working on some very challenge project in Europe, and still trying to hire some new new employees right now. And yeah, so Microsoft MVP for I think almost 1 year, so still a rookie, but yeah, I'm working a lot of the community, and my main real thing that I've done last year was to organize a Power Platform French Summit. We had 2,000 people registered. So yeah, it's very I very like that. So yeah, that's a good point. And so yeah, don't hesitate to follow me on social network. I will be really pleased to accept you. And on the top, you have my blog here. So of course, the topics that I will show you today of Finance Insight, as usual, I've done a lot of huge article, long article. So yeah, you will have some finance insight about that also on my blog. So especially on the configuration part. So I will not really go deeper on the configuration part because it's not really it's a technical thing, but you can follow my blog to know how to configure Finance Insight, and also other topic like data lake, etc. And yeah. So here we go. So what we will cover today, first thing, of course, that you will see with Finance Insight, it's AI Builder. So I think you have a lot of session during this weekend. So again, thanks also to Raz and Andre, Ludwig, etc. So the whole organization behind this magnific summit. And thanks for you to be here during the weekend to follow us. Hopefully, I think it will be interesting for you. But really, my main point here in global project right now is really to go deeper on Power Platform with finance operation, because as you have seen, I think Microsoft is really pushing Power Platform, and not only for customer engagement. So really, Dynamics 365 Finance Operation can go further with all Power Platform thing, and you will see that Finance Insight use, in fact, AI Builder to build your custom AI model. So really, it's a good integration to see that we can really go to build some AI stuff on the finance operation with AI Builder and Power Platform. So we will see the integration, in fact, with finance operation with AI Builder, and the two main points, three, in fact. The three facts that we can use with Finance Insight is really to use customer payment prediction. That's for me with business as a functional side to help global risk officer in finance operation to get some insight directly in the ERP, and also, of course, with the finance people that we love, the budget proposal and the cash flow forecast. So the three points that we can cover with Finance Insight. But I wanted really to just to start with to present a little AI Builder, because I don't know if you work really on finance operation, if you know very well AI Builder, because Finance Insight use AI Builder to build the AI model, the insight. But for me, it's a good opportunity to show you that we can use also other AI Builder model, especially like expense management, or even now the vendor payment automation, vendor invoice automation, sorry. So in fact, Microsoft built a lot of LCS add-in that you can use now out of the box with configuration on finance operation. So AI Builder on Power Platform, of course, it's not my sentence, it's Microsoft, but that's the main point, of course, it's to give everyone access to AI. And if you go in the past as just a historical thing, AI Builder is using, in fact, the same thing as Azure. Azure AI services, like Azure Cognitive Services. So now Microsoft has said, okay, we have built a lot of AI Azure machine learning that I've used in the past, in 2015, 5 years ago already. And now the aim, the goal of Microsoft is empower every user in the globe, but of course also in the Power Platform to give access, give everyone access to AI, especially as in Power Platform. So of course, is to improve your application and business process with artificial intelligence in Power Platform. Okay, so for me, AI Builder, you can use it on your application, and yes, even in the ERP system. So don't be afraid. You can still try it. You have a free trial on AI Builder. Now, as you have seen just before, thanks, Cruz, about DualWrite, but also with that I've done with the Fast Track team with Rachel Profit about virtual entity synchronization on the Dataverse with finance operation. So really now you have the ability to push or to sync data from ERP to Dataverse on the Power Platform, and use after business event on Power Automate, use some stuff like Power Apps, of course, and AI Builder and Virtual Agent and so on. So yeah, that's the main points. So how works really AI Builder behind the scene? The main point, the main step by step. So first, of course, main focus is really to choose the good model type to resolve your business case. And as I said, Microsoft is AI Builder was released in 2019, end of 19, well, we can say like beginning of 2020. So not really, huge. You have it's just 1 year ago. So of course it's a new thing. So now Microsoft release a new AI model every 3 months, I think now. So the expense model to do OCR has been really a good thing to bring to everyone on Power Platform. So I think now Azure AI services will be as soon as we can in AI Builder to use it without to be a real developer like a wizard. So the second step, it's to connect data, yeah, of course. So as any AI model, you have to, of course, to have a lot of data on your side to have a good prediction model. So be aware of that. Of course, you can't be 100% of your result if you have just 1,000 of invoices, but of course, as we know, ERP system normally have a huge amount of data because we handle a lot of processes and lot of users normally. So yeah, as a good thing, of course, it's not a black box AI Builder. So you can really push and customize your AI model. You can filter your data, schedule it, and optimize that you will see just after in Finance Insight. We can really optimize, add external data, not especially finance operation data. So it's not you will not be blocked, in fact, to build your own model on AI Builder. Last, just after, you have to train your model, of course. As any AI model, you have to train it as an automatic process to teach your AI model how to correct your business problem, of course, with your business data. And once it's trained, any new data coming up in Dataverse from the ERP system we will have a prediction. And of course, at the end, on the lifecycle management, on the ALM stuff, of course, you can retrain automatically with every week, every month, with your with new data. Of course, your model can be transformed to, you can configure again, and the AI stuff will teach. You can teach your AI Builder every month with coming data. And last, but at least, of course, at the end, you can really build an end-to-end solution with Power Platform and 365, Dynamics 365, to, in fact, for the business. The business will not cover this part. It will be the partner side, but at the end, you can publish a model, and you will see in Finance Insight, you can really use it after in finance operation and give access for insight. That's the main point. I think in the keynote last night from Microsoft, you have seen vendor automation, finance automation. So Microsoft is really go deeper on as a automation part. So not only on AI, but really to have insight on your ERP. Not just just implement or integrate your ERP system, but really push intelligence on your data. So for me, it's really important for your customers that use ERP every day to have they have a lot of data, a lot of processes in the ERP, but really they want to know, okay, now that we have some data on your system, everything works. So it's a long journey, of course, to implement finance operation, as you know. But at the end, now we can go deeper as a phase 2, using Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse, BI, machine learning, etc. So Power Platform, Power Automate, Power Apps, a virtual agent, etc. So yeah. So The model as of today, just as I said, the Microsoft build and transform, publish AI model coming from Azure AI services to Power Platform. So as I said, we have now as a preview, we have receipt processing. We have so we have a lot of things, especially like the vendor invoice automation it's really similar as form processing, and we have prediction. And in fact, Finance Insight, you will see behind the scene use the prediction model. Okay, so that's why we have now Finance Insight, thanks to AI Builder on Power Platform, so that Microsoft can push AI on ERP system. So now we have said that on finance operation. Now how we can use it in finance operation. So first, sorry, I forgot to translate it in English, the topic. So it's integration with finance operation. So first topic, as you will see, main point, and I think if you have seen my blog, I cover a lot of Azure Data Lake. And as I said, just this week, I'm working a lot of Data Lake and Synapse. And just after my session, stay, because you will have a good session about Synapse and Data Lake for BI on finance operation. So you have to go to this session just after me, really. So yeah, Finance Insight, it's mandatory. If you want to use Finance Insight, you have to use Azure Data Lake. And on my side that I cover, that I use as a preview for a while now, but really, as you have seen, maybe in the release plan of the wave of this year, Microsoft will really go further on Data Lake, and for me, it will be global availability for everyone. You will have the ability to sync tables, data entities, and as of now, we can already push for 1 year now, entity store, aggregate measurement in the Data Lake. And in fact, on Finance Insight, Microsoft has built their own aggregate measurement on entity store, but you will have to configure and push it to an Azure Data Lake to be to have the data available in Dataverse. Okay, so you don't have you have to use it, and I think for Finance Insight, it's a good way to go to Azure Data Lake. And of course, at the end, maybe don't use now, bring your own database, but you can of course still use it. But you can, on my side, I will really as a good best practice for this year. If you don't use Azure Data Lake as of now, you will have to use it and to try it, and yeah, even in a preview, but you can use it and test it in a sandbox. Okay. As the end, second step, of course, is to use AI Builder as a machine learning model. You will see that the configuration is quite simple. It's of course the goal and the aim of Power Platform. Every component in Power Platform. The synchronization at the end, the synchronization of the result will be pushed after in finance operation. So for that, we will use data integration project on Power Platform. So with the entities, now it's stable in the Dataverse, but on the table of Dataverse, you can push after the data, the prediction, the result on finance operation. And of course, on the functional side, you will have to enrich, you can enrich, modify, add external data, and push the result to finance operation. So, as don't know if we have a lot of functional consultant here right now, but also maybe some business. And so, of course, first, before talking about technical stuff, geek stuff, what are really the main features, main goal to cover that Microsoft want to cover with Finance Insight? I didn't mention that, but Finance Insight, it's not the workspace of Finance Insight. It's really a new add-on like if you work a lot on customer engagement, maybe you have seen on customer engagement, Microsoft has really built a lot of insight stuff. They like the word insight. So you have sales insight, customer service insight. So yeah, it's customer insight, etc. So you have a lot of insight thing. So now they bring some insight on the ERP. And first topic, of course, is to have to improve your cash flow with AI tools to have proactive collection through payment forecast. Okay. Also some easier budgeting, so automate budget. So as you know, every year it's quite can be challenging for finance, business finance guy, finance end user to build their own budget, especially as of now, because with the COVID-19, it's quite challenging to know what will be the budget. A budget proposal. So it's not mandatory. It's just a proposition. It's a budget proposal. So of course it's AI. It's prediction. So you can really the AI give me this result. If it's okay, no, I will use it. No, etc. Accurate cash flow management, of course, and increase accuracy because you have some Power BI, on the cash flow, cash and bank management module. Of course, as you know, maybe you have some Power BI reports to give some insight, prediction on the cash flow on some bank accounts. But now with Finance Insight, we'll have a more accuracy on the cash flow, quarterly, monthly, yearly. So you can have a filtering data on some main account, on some bank account, etc. So yeah, and to make, of course, data-driven decision, of course. So as I said just before, reduce budgeting time and effort, and analyze year of historical data to forecast your budget. And last but not least, the provide customer payments reliable. So you can use AI to predict when customer will pay your invoice, your bills. Okay. So on my side, I've tested for a few customers, and normally, you will be like on my side, I was like 80% of prediction of good results. So it's not, as you know, on AI, it's quite challenging to be at 100%. So it's just AI, it's just prediction, probability, but still, I think it's a really good opportunity for, like as I said, credit risk officer, global risk officer, to have some insight on some customers, on some transaction, to know if this invoice will be paid lately, late, very late, at time. And if it's late, you will have also, as we see just after, how in 30 days, 60 days, and you can use a credit collection module, of course, about that with your customer. And as a business side, you can the business can have make actions, take action based on this result. We know this customer will pay often lately more than 80 days after the due date of the invoice. So maybe we will not do any business further with them, and and of course improve your margin at the end. So prediction the payment of your customer. So first thing to do, as I said, is to sync your data from ERP system to the data lake. And with that, you will not have to do any line of code. So that's the main point for me. I'm a technical guy, so line of code, maybe it's not, for me, it's not a problem, but I know that it's quite good to just, just have a configuration, a wizard, step by step, and you don't have to be a global architect just to configure the Finance Insight. You have of course, at the end, the ability to analyze the result as a global risk officer, as I said, And we will see just after with a demonstration, some view, insight per transaction, per customer, and analyze the result inside the ERP. Last, but could be a good way, because we are now on the Power Platform, the result before, the result will be calculated on AI Builder and stored at first on Dataverse, on the Common Data Service. And in fact, now that we have the data also on the Dataverse, it will be synced after, of course, as I said, on Finance Operation. But if it's already in the Dataverse, we can really build, Power Automate business event based on the result. So I don't know, but maybe as a good business case, use case, you can already automate some stuff based on the results. So of course, the global risk officer will see the data on the ERP. Great, but maybe if there are a lot of transactions, if they have a lot of customers, maybe they want to automate to know, okay, we know the customer as a prediction, as a new prediction calculated already by the AI Builder. We know that this customer will pay at 80% of prediction lately, very often. So we can automate some action. I don't know, deactivate the customer on the ERP, or maybe send an automatic email, or just maybe just alert automatically the global risk officer, so that they don't have to do, to go to the finance operation system to check every transaction or customer. They can just receive, an adaptive card on Microsoft Teams every day to have, the most risky customers, a risky transaction, and to be alerted really every day or by Power Automate. So how it works? So first, of course, you have, I will not cover the configuration part, okay? So if you want to, I will show you at the end my an email address to be part already on the private preview. So if you want to use it right now, just after my session, if you like it, if you want to try it right now, this weekend, you have to push an email to Microsoft, because it's still in private preview right now. To be part, they have to, to activate the, now, you have the feature management workspace. Huh? So if you go to feature management workspace, you will see this feature, Finance Insight, or I think they have called the feature customer insight, customer payment prediction preview. So you can activate it, but they have to, to activate your environment ID on LCS to really use it. So you have to contact them right now. But as I said, in the release plan, normally the Finance Insight will be in public preview in April. So you can maybe wait a little bit if you want, and wait for the public preview. But in April, everyone will have the ability, in a sandbox, not in production, in a sandbox in April, to just go to feature management, activate it, and let's go. But what I wanted to really explain here is you have a configuration, very, very important configuration here, is for your customer, what is I think it's only the main configuration here, is to say what is the interval after the due date to be considered as a very late, because for some customers, I don't know, but if the customer pay just just 30 days after the due date of the invoice, it's not really a big deal. For some of them, maybe, for some customer, maybe. And so on these customers that have tried this Finance Insight, when by default, Microsoft put it at 30 days for the very late. But you will see here, you have three. It's a classification AI model, Finance Insight. It's just categorization. This customer, you have a flag on every customer, on time, late, very late. three categories. So for me, you have two things. You have late and very late. So if you put 30 days as very late, so late will be like 10 days or 5 days, as an average. So for me, for some customers, late can be considered as 30 days, and very, very late, 60 days, it's quite very late, 2 months after the due date. So and I think I've tried Finance Insight by default with 30 days on this customer, and the accuracy was not really good. It was just 60. And when I put it at 60 days, it's quite 80%, so not quite good, I think, because for some customers, we don't have finance operation has been in go live 1 year or 2 years ago. They don't have done a lot of data migration. They don't have a lot of invoices. So as I said just before in the presentation of AI Builder, the main point is really to have a good volumetry, to have a more precise accuracy. Okay. But as I said, AI Builder, it's not a black box, so you can still improve it. And when you click it, improve model accuracy, you go now, of course, an AI Builder. So that's why I've covered a little bit AI Builder, because if you want to use Finance Insight, you have to know a little bit AI Builder, how to configure it, how it works, but really it's Power Platform. So as I said, normally if you work on finance operation, it's not really you don't have to do 1 month training to know how to works really AI Builder. But when you go on AI Builder, you have two things. You have the last train version, okay? And for me, very, very important part is the most influential data, okay? And on that, it's important because AI model, I know that because, in the past, I work on Azure Machine Learning, but you don't have to push and activate every column to be part of the AI model training. If you have some, like me, you can see I have 2 fields right now that are just 2 or 1% influential data. So it's not really important. And as a good best practices, if you want to improve it, be careful of that. You have to unselect not mandatory field, not influential data. And with that, you will have a more accuracy, more precise model, because it will exclude some columns that can be, in fact, not really a good thing to add it on your model. It will, in fact, decrease your accuracy. So if you activate all fields to be part of Finance Insight AI model, maybe you will have a decreasing accuracy. So be careful of that. But on every AI model project, it's in an agile project. It's activate some field. No, not working. We have a less accuracy. Okay, I will activate it. It's better. Okay, so it's step by step. You activate, you deactivate some fields. You see the result behind, and after you see, okay, for me this is the perfect model as of now on my side with my data as of now. So I can now publish it and use it for finance operation. Okay. You have other things to know. I love that, Mike by Microsoft. So they have put it some, letter A, B, C, D, and of course, main point here for the business. I don't know, but if you have some accuracy like C or D, I don't know if really Finance Insight will be really great for the business, because if you put some prediction on your ERP, okay, this customer will pay lately at 60 days very often, but in fact, behind the scenes, you just have 44% of prediction. It's not really, you are not 100% sure. So maybe not a real insight for the customer to have this functionality. So that's why, of course, before putting this finance insight in production, as a good best practice is, of course, is to use it and try it on the sandbox. You copy your production database, and I have done a good Power Automate flow to do data ALM, to copy automatically every night your production to a sandbox, and you can really after try a finance insight in this sandbox and see the result, try it with the customer, see on the business if it's real, if it's a real important, and push some data on the ERP. Okay. So how it works also to the run model. So of course, every day you have some data on finance operation. So this data will be pushed automatically on the entity store, from the entity store aggregate measurement to the data lake, and of course available in Dataverse as an entity, as a table in a Dataverse. And you can't say calculate any new prediction every hour. You just have daily as a minimum. So you can't have a real time, prediction, but daily I think it's quite good. Every day you have some new predictions that will be calculated regularly, and new data will be automatically scored at the end, and you have after just the sync from AI Builder to finance operation. And I will just maybe at the end on the demonstration I will show you the retrain part. The retrain part, it's important, as I said before, on AI Builder, is to say, AI Builder, please retrain all my model every month, because you will have more and more data, and the AI model has to be retrained every month to have more accuracy. On the customer side, you have the on time. So this is the result at the end that you will have on your finance operation instance on the sandbox. So you will have the payment prediction per customer with the balance, with the currency, of course, and you will have 3 columns, as I said, because you have 3 categories: on time, late, very late, and they have put it some color. Thanks, Microsoft. So when you see red, it's quite okay. As you can see, this customer normally pay very not very late, but late. So for this customer, as I show you before, I have put it 60 days to the configuration for very late. So normally late will be an average of 30 days after the due date. So I know this customer pay 94% late. So normally after 30 days after the due date. So maybe as a global risk officer, I will take maybe some action with this customer. But of course, it's also depending on the balance of this customer. Okay, to know what, as a global risk officer, okay, I know he pay late, but if it's a balance or it's not a huge customer on my side, it's maybe not really a good or real impact on my cash flow, on my treasury, on my balance, on my bank account. So yeah, you will not take maybe the same action on every customer if maybe if the result is the same, but yeah. You have also on the customer side, on the right panel, you have a lot more insight, finance insight. So you have more details on the on time, on the late, on the very late, on the open amount. Okay, the customer can see, the end user can see really the prediction behind. So you will see, okay, we know that the intelligence insight are here, but what are the prediction model performance behind? Okay, They have a lot more details about the open invoices, the late invoices, and the last payment amount. And main topic here, really, here you have also the average day late. Okay. So now we know this customer paid late, on late very often. And so late for him, for this customer was 19 after the due date. So good insight here. You have the same thing on every transaction. Okay, so on every general journal transaction, on the sales order transaction, so you can have a deeper understanding on what will be the on-time probability on this transaction only. Okay, so you can really, the global risk officer, the financial end user can really know, on-time probability and on this transaction. Last, before the demonstration, the quick demonstration, the budget and cash flow. Okay, so I don't have a lot of things here to cover, but yeah, on the cash flow forecast, it's very similar, in fact. But as before, just it's important to know, but on the cash flow forecast, you can add external data. Okay, so it's not only on finance operation data. You can really add customer external data coming from whatever system you have. And after that, you can ask the AI Finance Insight, to calculate the cash flow forecast for the week, as a weekly part, as a quarterly part, as a yearly part, month by month, and also bank account by bank account, main account by main account, and to know the liquidity behind, and to see what will be normally the cash flow in the coming months. So nice to have, but really it's not a for me. As I know that maybe finance operation was not really a good thing for the cash flow. Sometimes on my side, I don't know for you, but some customers use a lot of external treasury system, not the treasury module of finance operation. But really now I think that Microsoft will want to to improve the treasury part, the budgeting part on finance operation. So here we are now with Finance Insight. We can have a more AI stuff and AI data insight on cash flow. Okay, so quick demonstration, because we have just 10 minutes, I think. So if I go to finance operation, session indeed, of course, because I talk too much every time. So as I said, you have to activate. So remember, if you want to activate the export from your entity store, from your aggregate measurement to the data lake, you have to go to system parameter and activate it on the data connection. Okay, and here we are. Just a quick information here. If you select this configuration, this trickle update data lake, you can even have now incremental update on your data lake on aggregate measurement. It's working. It was not really working for quite a while, but now it's really work well to push aggregate measurement on the data lake, especially on incremental update. So the incremental update will work every 10 minutes. You can push your data to the data lake, but really just stay after with the Synapse data lake stuff, because you will see that now we will have soon the ability to push also table and data entities on the data lake in near real time, like Microsoft like to say every time. So as I said, entity store, and you have free aggregate measurement. So be careful, since it's still in preview, you have some filtering here, and you will not see the measurement if you don't unselect this thing. So you have to unselect it, sorry. And after, normally, if I'm not wrong, you have an aggregate measurement called customer payment insight. Okay, measure, preview. Okay. And of course, you have to activate automatic refresh enable. And as you have seen, now the data will be pushed on the data lake. Okay, and on the data lake, if I go on my container, you can. Oh, sorry, wrong container, containers. You have the here you have, so you will see on that table data entities after, you will see that, as I said, in the future session. And the aggregate measurement, you have the pay-pred measure, and pay-pred measure is the aggregate measurement used for Finance Insight for the customer payment prediction. Okay, and it will be, of course, mainly the invoices that have built Microsoft. Now that the data is on the data lake, you have the ability to have the data on the Dataverse. Okay, so on the Dataverse you will have you have a lot of new entities, table now. You have, of course, the source from the ERP, the account and the invoice, and of course at the end the result entity, when AI Builder will push the scoring on every transaction, every customer, and this will be the entity used to push after the data to finance operation. Okay, the scoring, and you have to use data integration in Power Platform to push data between Dataverse, the entity of Dataverse, to finance operation. Okay. And you can schedule it, of course. So push the scoring, the new result from Finance Insight on the finance operation, and yeah. Okay. So okay, that's it. Poor apps. Yeah, sorry. So you can still have the ability, you can have the result, the data result on the Dataverse. So you have to select all column, and here you can really go to check every transaction, what will be the scoring behind. And as I said, you can really build now. You can build a Power Automate flow on this result. And do some Power Automate flow with condition, and I don't know, maybe send an automatic adaptive card to Microsoft Teams, to the global risk officer, if adaptive card, if the result is behind, is after 80% of prediction. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I can't show you the more things because still it's still a preview. So yeah, be careful of that. Right now I have upgraded, to the PU 40, the platform update 40, yeah, it's not working anymore now. So when I click to restart model creation, the training is still ongoing. I don't know why, but so yeah, but on the AI Builder, if I go to the model, if I want to show you that the same thing that I've showed you before on my slide, so you will have the model. So as I said, be aware, you can really try it, Finance Insight, because AI Builder, you can use it as a free trial, and it's not a big deal. I don't know why, but on this tenant, I am on AI Builder for trial for more than 6 months, and it's still not deactivated. I can still postpone, the trial. Don't know why, but good thing. Thanks, Microsoft. And yeah, it's here where you will have to the AI Builder model. And if it's okay. So as I show you, you have the most influential data. Here you can say how many times you want to run the new prediction, okay, on the result entity. And here you can have you can say the retrain you can say the retrain part, as I said, on the model. Okay. So you can use your model here, and as I said, you can still download the metric detail behind to know really deeper what are the results behind, and you can publish it, use your model, and yeah, that's it, most of it. As a very quick and fast summarize. And as I said, you can really edit. As I said, it's not a black box. Huh? You can really edit your model, create a new version of your AI model, and you can unselect fields, select new fields, etc., and publish it, try it, see the scoring, and yeah. So as I said, it's here where you can say to confirm up to 3 columns, the model should study. Automate, late, very late. It's here when you can say the filter part. Okay, maybe you don't want to score every legal entity. Okay, it could be a requirement for you. So here you can really select only field needed for your AI model, and after, yeah, on the filtering part. You can say filter data, add row, and it's similar as any view on Dataverse. You can really add some filtering here. Okay. Okay. Well, how I can? Yeah, I can. Okay, that's it. 5 minutes left. What I can show you, maybe I will have some. Maybe you will have some question. Maybe at the end, before. Yeah. If we have some technical guy here, it's the same unsexy schema that I've done very often on my blog, is to explain really, the path behind. So you have finance operation data, as I said. You push your data to the data lake. Sorry, it's an old schema, so now it's not Common Data Service, but it's Dataverse, but it's the same thing. So at first, you have a warm-up process, first global warm-up process. And when it will be published, of course, your AI model, it will be every day new data coming and scoring every time automatically. Oh. Yeah, I don't know, but thanks. You have AI Builder Services prediction model to score, of course, the new data coming, and you have the result entity, and you use Power Platform Data Integration Project to push after the result to your finance operation instance. Okay, but thanks everyone. Maybe I will have some question. 5 minutes question, I think. Yeah, great. I will push you. The email if you want to try the Finance Insight by in the chat just after. But yeah, if you have some question, I will be happy to answer.
Yep, merci beaucoup, Aurélien. Thank you very much. Actually, we do have some questions in the chats. The first question is from Vader. Do we need Purchase Finance Insight as a separate app to use with Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations?
You know
heard that it is a sort of add-on.
Yep. Yeah, the license, I think, the question behind. Right? Yeah, good question. So yeah, I'm working with the product team in Microsoft in the US for that, and they didn't answer me yet about that. So I really don't know if we will have to pay something. I hope not, of course, because you know that finance operations license could be quite huge sometimes. So I don't know. I think I think not. But of course, I'm not 100% sure about that. But you have seen, maybe you have a lot of LCS add-in, like the MRP enhancement optimization. for the MRP system. Using, in fact, behind the scene, some Azure component of Microsoft. You have I've done a new article on e-invoicing services. Very recent thing also. You have a lot of new add-in out of the box external system, by building by Microsoft. So I hope that even if Finance Insight use AI Builder, it will be, at no charge at the end, because you already pay, your finance operation system. But it's a really good question, because on customer engagement, every sales insight, customer service insights, it's an external, license. You have to pay for that. So yeah, I really don't know. So sorry about that, but hopefully I don't think they will charge for that. So, but we will see in the coming months. I will share it, of course, when I will have a final answer about that.
Yeah, and I think the question is also indeed a bit too early, because Microsoft needs to see what are their options here. In fact, replacing some parts with services like the inventory service or the planning service, that's replacing functionality, then it's included. And this one, we really don't know yet. So I think too early, the question. But it's a good one. And the same one might also be too early, but probably you can also help out here. The question from Johnny. Are there any documentation on input data source details from Dynamics 365 finance operations, calculation details, and outputs presentation?
Yeah. So you mean how to configure it or how to customize it? That's it. I don't know. So as I said, I've done. If you want, you can really. I will push the link. Just don't be afraid. I will push the link of my blog of Finance Insight. You will have the email address to try it as a private preview still, and you have the official documentation right now, because before you have of course on the Microsoft documentation. I will zoom it, but you have they have done a really great documentation, really. Better than me to explain really how to configure it, how to add external data on the forecast, on the cash flow forecast. Use external data in cash flow forecast. So yeah, I will share this link if you want. If you really want to try it and go really deeper. In fact, as you mentioned.
And there's another question from Susan. Why is it not good if prediction comes to a 99% accuracy? Will this be classified as AD?
Yeah. Good point. On my side, I think with the customer, because on this preview, I requested the business to try it. In fact, not not as a partner, but really customer. If Finance Insight will be great for him as a business. And yeah, 80%, near 80%, I think it's not really. It's good prediction. But if you are before less than, I don't know, 60%, you know that maybe half of the time it's not a real accuracy or precise answer, And if you take automate action or even a manual action, is as a global risk officer, you take action. I don't know, deactivate the customer, or I don't know, not do any new business with them. And in fact, it was based on the results that you are not 100% sure. Yeah. So on every AI model, to finalize my answer, on every AI model, be careful of what is really the aim goal behind as a business. What will be the question that you want to answer, and if this answer it's not really a big deal if you are wrong, okay, you are fine with it. But if you use AI Builder or AI model or every AI model with Azure AI services or whatever, and to answer critical business question, you have to be careful of your result because if you lose $1 million because you have deactivate and a customer not doing any new business with them because you have seen the Finance Insight result on finance operation that say, okay, this customer will pay lately very often, and in fact it was wrong. Yeah, good to know. Okay, it's my opinion, but.
Well, thank you, Aurélien, again for your time and presentation. Great insights on financial insights. We're on top of the hour, so we have to move to the next presenter. Actually, there was one additional question from Ludwig, but I suppose he wants to manage his own cash flow. That's but you can look at that one afterwards. But now it's time for Paul Heisterkamp.
And for the Synapse, stay.
That's indeed the ADLS and Synapse. So, welcome, Paul.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm here. Thanks for having me.
We're looking forward for this presentation, and the floor is yours.
Can you see my slides?